Calling Dr. Phil, a play in one act by C.A. Dougherty, starring Pam Wegner as Dixie Dexter and Jim Hoff as Dr. Naish. Calling Dr. Phil. The setting is Dr. Naish's office. The time is the present. Dr. Naish is sitting in his office chair, jotting notes in his notebook. He continues writing for a moment before reaching over and pressing a button on the intercom.
Amanda, has my next client arrived?
Yes, doctor. Mrs. Dexter is here. Should I send her in?
Yes, send her in, please. Mrs. Dexter, how nice to meet you. Make yourself comfortable. You may hang your coat up over there if you'd like.
No, I'm fine.
Very well. May I call you Dixie?
Oh, sure. I mean, after all, it's my name.
Thank you. I thought your husband was joining us for this session.
Oh, you mean Walter? No, he didn't want to come. Said I'm barking up the wrong tree.
Wrong tree?
Well, you know, talking about our marriage and what I see as a problem. I admit I was kind of upset when he said he wasn't coming. But then this morning, while I was taking my shower, it suddenly hit me. I mean, right between the eyes. Taking a shower kind of works like that for me sometimes. Anyway, I get a lot of ideas when I'm in the shower.
Yes, I've heard the shower does work that way for a great many people.
Well, anyway, once it hit me, I done seen the light. And then I wasn't sure whether there was any reason in even keeping the appointment. But then Gertie thought I should. Keep the appointment, that is. She said if I could ask Dr. Phil about it, he'd for sure say, "Go for it, Dixie." So, hey, you don't argue with Dr. Phil, right?
Dr. Phil?
Oh, you know, the shrink guy on television. Oh, he is the best. He has an answer for any problem that any of his guests come up with. A lot of freaks out there, you know. But he always knows what to say to make things right.
Yes. I'm aware of who Dr. Phil is, but who is Gertie?
Oh, yeah. Well, Gertie's my neighbor. We both love Dr. Phil. Doctor?
Yes?
I do have a small confession to make. You see, I tried to get on Dr. Phil's show instead of coming to you, but they said it would take months, maybe years, to get on his schedule. And, well, Gertie said that even though you weren't Dr. Phil, you might have something to say that might be worth listening to.
I'm humble.
Oh, no big deal. I figured I could always write a letter to telling Dr. Phil what you told me and see if he agrees with you.
Very well. Now that we've established all that, let's move on, shall we? You mentioned that you felt that there was a problem in your marriage.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Would you care to elaborate?
Well, the problem isn't our marriage exactly. No, the problem is my husband. How he acts, some of the weird things he does. He's bugged me for years, if you want the truth. But lately, oh, he has gotten worse. So I figured if you could give me some techniques, you know, like Dr. Phil would do, I could use those techniques to get my husband to change, and voila, problem solved.
Voila.
Voila.
Mrs. Dexter, Dixie, maybe we should step back for a moment.
Oh.
You see, for me to help my clients, I need to listen closely in order to understand their needs. It's a process. Working with you to zero in on exactly what the issue might be. Now, obviously, you have an idea of what the problem might be, and I respect that. But before we can get to voila, I need to dig a bit deeper.
Deeper? I don't know. I mean, like I said, I've already figured out the cause of the problem. I just don't know what to do about it.
Well, hearing what you think the cause could be might be an excellent way to move forward.
Okay.
Are you ready to share what you think the cause is?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was in the shower today, and it finally hit me.
Yes, I believe we have established that you indeed took a shower this morning and that something most definitely hit you.
Yep, so it hit me right between the eyes that my husband, Walter, is an alien.
Excuse me? Did you say he's an alien?
Yep, kind of grabs you, don't it?
So he's a foreign-born resident or citizen.
Well, that's one way of putting it.
And where is he from, originally?
That I don't know, and trust me, it's not like I haven't asked. I can't tell you how many times Walter's heard me yell, "What planet did you come from?" You know, like when he does something weird.
Do you mean, are you telling me that Walter, your husband, is an alien from outer space?
Isn't that what I just said? Geez, Doc, I figured you'd be quicker on the uptake. I guess not every shrink can be as quick as...
Dr. Phil. No, I suppose not.
Yep, and don't think I'm trying to criticize you or anything, but Dr. Phil, oh, he'd be way past all this chit-chat by now. You know, you ought to watch his show now and then. I'm sure you'd get some great pointers.
Thank you, Dixie. I will take that under advisement. But right now, let's get back to what you were saying.
Okay. Well, like I said, Walter is an alien from outer space. But which planet, or for that matter, which galaxy? I haven't got a clue. Though he does spend a lot of time looking at the Big Dipper. So I'm thinking that's maybe he comes from that general direction.
Ah, yes. You said it was only this morning that it occurred to you that your husband was an alien.
Well, yeah, but I've been thinking about it all day. Even talked with Gertie about it, only she was like, "Oh, you mean that whole men are from Mars and women are from Venus thing?" I tried to tell her that no, I mean he is really, truly an alien. She wasn't getting it. She said she never met a man that didn't act like they were from another planet. So what was the big deal?
And did anything happen before your shower this morning? An injury, perhaps? A bump on the head?
Oh, Doc, you are doing what Dr. Phil calls deflecting. I'm not the problem here. I didn't get any knock on the head and wake up seeing little green midgets running around.
I see. Okay. So let's talk about why you think your husband is an alien.
I don't think he's an alien. He is an alien.
Sorry. My apologies. What made you realize he is an alien?
Oh, it started with one thing and then another, and well, I guess it all started to add up.
Perhaps you could share an example.
Well, let's see. Oh, the very first thing that I thought of was a little off. He fixes things, and they are actually fixed. I mean, you know how guys are. They try to fix something, and it never works quite right after that. Like they can get a clock running, only it never tells the right time again.
Oh, well, I'm not sure that...
Can you fix things that work the way they're supposed to after you've fiddled with them?
Actually, I've never been particularly handy.
Thought so. Well, Walter has every possible high-tech tool and is compulsive about keeping them all organized. He won't let me go anywhere near his tools. Makes me wonder what he's doing out there in his workroom all the time.
Anything else?
Ooh, another thing that made me suspicious. I actually noticed this when we were first dating, but I guess I was looking at Walter through rose-colored glasses back then. Anyway, the thing is, if we're driving around and somehow we end up lost, he will actually stop and get directions. I don't even have to ask him to do that.
Really? I have to admit that for a man, that is unusual.
Exactly. I mean, how many men do you know that would stop to ask directions, even if their life depended on it? Not many. I'll bet all those other guys that do, aliens too.
That is an interesting theory.
Oh, you bet. Oh, and another thing, he never just picks up the remote to surf through the channels at lightning speed. Oh, no. No. The way he does it, he goes through each of the channels and he stops and then reads the entire description before moving on to the next channel. Do you know how long it takes to get from the Food Network to the Travel Channel? We never see the start of a show if he's handling the remote. Never!
Admittedly, you have indeed made some remarkable observations, though I'm still not able to understand why these characteristics are considered problematic. I think that...
because they are not normal. Ask any woman in this town, any woman in this country, for that matter, maybe even the world. They'll tell you what's what. And my husband, he ain't it. And that makes my life difficult. And before you go asking why, I'll tell you. Because I got nothing to complain about with my girlfriends. When they complain about their husbands, I don't even know what they're talking about. That makes me look strange.
Ah, I see. So the problem stems from experiencing a sense of alienation from your social network, the peer group you turn to for a sense of camaraderie and support.
Hello? Have you heard anything I've been saying? Do not put this on me, Doc. The problem stems from the fact that my husband is an alien.
Yes, I see. No need to get upset. I'm trying to help, though it does make it difficult if your husband does not wish to attend the sessions.
I can tell I am not convincing you, am I? So you want another fascinating observation that's going to break the bank? In the entire time that I've known Walter, I have never known him to fart.
Never?
And on top of that, I have never once heard the man pee. Not a sound. You'd think after all these years I'd have heard a whiz or a tinkle now or then.
Not a tinkle. Curious.
That's what I thought.
Anything else?
This one is the clincher as far as I'm concerned. And I know it sounds crazy, but it is totally true. He has the audacity to ask for help when he needs it. I know. It's hard to grasp. And it's not just like when he's lost, like I said before, but with anything.
Though I have to admit, Walter appears, well, thought-provoking. There's nothing that
now,
really...
Now, hold on a minute. Because I haven't even told you about the dog.
What?
E.T.
I'm sorry. I'm not following you. And please don't tell me Dr. Phil would have been all over this by now. Just tell me who or what E.T. is.
E.T. is Walter's dog.
And E.T. is significant because...
I'm pretty sure he's an alien too.
I'd like to know what Dr. Phil would have to say about that.
Sorry, I didn't catch that, Doc.
Oh, I was only thinking out loud. So now, tell me about E.T.
He's Walter's dog. He says he picked him up in a shelter before we were married.
So it was Walter who named the dog E.T.
Yep.
I see. And what is it about E.T.? Does E.T. look unusual?
No, he doesn't look unusual. He's a mutt. Pretty ordinary. Oh, except his eyes. I always thought his eyes were kind of spooky. If Walter isn't around, he sits and watches me, like he has me under surveillance or something. No matter where I go, there's that dog sitting absolutely still, his eyes following my every move. I'm guessing he reports back to Walter about me when he gets home.
Ah, so E.T. talks.
Well, not exactly.
I can hardly wait to hear.
It's Walter that does all the talking. For hours, they'll both be out on the patio, and Walter will be talking away about who knows what. And E.T., he just sits there nodding and sort of cocking his head once in a while, and then wagging his little tail. He totally looks like he understands everything Walter is saying.
Well, that's quite common for a dog to appear enthralled by his master's voice.
Oh, and then, if it's a clear night and, really bright, they both sit out there side by side, staring at the same point in the sky. It's like the both of them are trying to friggin' communicate with their mothership. I mean, who does that?
Oh, I'm sure many amateur astronomers might spend a great...
E.T. listens to music, too. But he's very particular. Like if Walter plays his favorite song, Misty, by that guy, Johnny Mathis, and it has to be Johnny Mathis, the dog sits and listens. But if you put on any other music, he gets up and leaves. Can't barely wait, get out of the room fast enough. I'm thinking that Misty's song has some sort of alien code hidden somewhere in the low notes.
Dixie, all this has been, well, extraordinary, but unfortunately our time is running short, so perhaps we should discuss next steps.
Next steps? What about techniques to solve my problem? I am living with a friggin' alien. I need you to step up your game, Doc. I mean, I hate to say it, but Dr. Phil would not be impressed. No way. I'm not leaving until you give me something to work with.
Dixie, I can't extend our session today. I have more patients scheduled for this afternoon, but we can certainly see you again in 2 weeks.
What?
Yes. We can pick it up same day, same time in 2 weeks. Perhaps Walter will join you then.
Doc, have you ever seen a woman on the edge? Well, right now, that's me. I am telling you, you gotta give me something. Today, right now. And I'm going to block that door and not budge until you do.
Dixie, normally I'd never share this with you, but, well, circumstances as they are, I see a need to rethink the situation. First, I don't think that being an alien is really such a bad thing, if what you say is true. And I'm not doubting you. Your husband is most likely one of them. Mm-hmm. The truth is, I'm impressed that you have figured it out. I compliment you on your insight. Most Earthlings have no idea.
Earthlings?
However, what most people, Earthlings, don't realize is that many of the people they admire are in reality aliens. I'd like to give you concrete examples, of course, but there's a code that I must adhere to, so unfortunately I can't share anything specific, but I will share with you that many of the qualities you've complained that your husband possesses, they are in fact shared by a few particularly notable citizens here on Earth, and I have been told by the alien authorities that a certain television personality that you particularly admire, he in fact shares those same qualities with your husband. Normally I wouldn't have said a word, but as you have pointed out, you are desperate. And since you already appear to have caught on to the fact of the existence of aliens, I want to help you.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Of course, I can't confirm or deny anything. It wouldn't be appropriate. You understand.
Oh, absolutely, Doc. I mean, I get what you're saying, or rather, what you're not saying. But you have just blown my mind wide open. I gotta let Gertie know. Second thought, maybe not. Gertie doesn't get the alien thing, but, well, maybe we'll just keep it between you and me. Oh, wow. This is awesome. Just totally awesome.
I'm happy to see that you've developed a bit of a different perspective, Dixie. And now, since I do have a very busy afternoon...
I don't believe it.
You don't? I apologize. I had to give it a try. I mean, you were extremely agitated and threatening.
It's like I'm married to Dr. Phil. Bye, Doc.
Oh. Amanda, has my next client arrived?